Hi there everyone on YouTube, this is Jeff from jeffmobile.com. Today I have a bit of an interesting tutorial for you. I'm going to be showing how you can take a video filmed with this camera, which is the YI360 VR, a great 360 camera that shoots in very high quality. I'm going to show you how you can take the footage from this camera and stitch it together, so move it all together into one file, because usually when you record this camera it makes several different files, each one have a certain number of minutes, but you can actually combine them all together using a free software tool. And then I'm going to use the same free software tool to enhance the audio, to make the audio louder, and then publish the video to YouTube without having to use any professional editing software altogether. I'm going to be using entirely open source software, and you won't have to buy Adobe Premiere. You'll be able to edit directly on this camera. So the first thing to note is I'll turn the camera on, and you'll see that there's a screen here that is kind of focusing in and out. And it's important to go into the menu and choose video settings. Let me see here. Video settings. And then choose video 4K and stitching yes. There we go. So video 4K and stitching yes. And then make sure your white balance is set correctly. So I was shooting outside, so my white balance was set at daylight. You can play with the other settings too if you want. Basically, I did that, and then I used this camera on a stabilizer and walked around for about 5 minutes outside and talking about things around the street. So now I have this video on the camera. I want to show you how I get the video off the camera and then process the video good enough with these free software so I can upload it to YouTube. So I'll take if you open up the camera here, you can see the memory card slot is here, and there's also a plug for the USB cable. So just plug in the camera USB there. It says USB connected on the camera. Now on the screen, I'll go to my Windows Explorer and go down to USB drive that appeared. And like any other camera, it appears just DCIM. So I'll open up that folder and I sort by name because the camera doesn't always have the correct dates. I sort by name and I choose the file with the biggest name. So here it's 880 is bigger than 810, so search for 880. And I only want to grab the MP4 files that don't have THM. So this is one, and this is another one. I'm actually control clicking on this, and this is another one. And I think those three are the only files I need. Yeah, that's 880. So I'll just go copy, and I'll go to my computer under videos, and I'll create a new folder called Walking Video 360 VR, and the date today is October 20th, 2018. I'll paste those, Control V to paste those files in there. And that takes a moment while it copies the videos. So the files are now copied to the folder, and now I can eject the camera, so I don't need the camera plugged in anymore. I can go eject, and then I'm just basically unplugging the camera from the USB cable. The next step is to concatenate these files, because I filmed in 360, I'm capturing everything around. So even if I don't do any editing, it still will be an interesting video because people can, when they watch the video, they can choose where they want to look. So I filmed this all live, and there's nothing I want to cut out because I remember throughout the whole video I was aware of what I was saying, and I don't think there's anything that I want to cut out. So I can actually, with 360 cameras, you don't need to do as much editing if you don't want to. So I have these three different files, as you see here, and if we look at the amount of time that they take, the two bigger ones are 4 minutes long, and then the smaller one is 50 seconds long. And you can see if you look at the file names, the one ending in 360, that's the first file that was filmed. And then number 1 and 2 are the ones filmed directly after. The number 1 was next, and the number 2 is the last video. You can see the last one is also shorter. So in total, I have an 8-minute and 50-second video. I want to combine these video files all into a single file. And at the same time, I'd like to increase the audio. Because if I show you something quickly, so if I open up this video file in Audacity. So Audacity is a free music software you can download online. I open up Audacity, and if I drop in the smaller one, which is just faster because it's faster to load up, it opens up this one, and this opens up only the audio channel. You can see that this camera, the YI360 VR, records audio at quite a low level. So things seem to peak around negative 0.5, and the majority of the peaks are negative 0.25. So if I was to fix this audio for better viewing on YouTube, I would like to make it louder. So I will use a limiter to basically squash out some of this empty space and make the audio louder. And I noticed that when I was talking, it's pretty much maxing out around 0.25, which is as if it's negative 1, negative 0.5, negative 0.25. So that's what I like to do. So FFmpeg is a free audio, video and audio processing software. You can download FFmpeg online if you go to Google and you just search for FFmpeg. You can go to FFmpeg, and it's a free download. You can click download. If you use Mac or PC or Linux, you can download this software. So I've already downloaded it and extracted it. I can show you quickly how to do that. So basically go here, Windows builds, and I like to use the latest version and 64-bit static. Click download build, and I'll save that, say on the temp folder maybe. Yeah, temp folder, and that will download. So it's finished downloading. So I'm going to go here, click show in folder, and I'll unzip this file using extract all. Just click extract, and it extracts that FFmpeg. And go into FFmpeg throughout the folders under bin, and there's FFmpeg.exe. So that's the one you need. So I would just say copy that FFmpeg.exe, go to videos, find your video folder, and just paste it in there. So the next thing you want to do is you want to combine together these three files. So since I'm Windows, I'm going to use a batch file, but if you're using a Mac, you can input these commands directly on the console. So I'll go to FFmpeg on Google, I'll type FFmpeg and concat, C-O-N-C-A-T, press enter. Go to this first page about concatenate. Concatenate means to combine together, and we want to concatenate them. So we want to use this first one called concatenate demuxer. So it says instructions, create a file mylist.txt with the files you want to have concatenated in the following form. So I'll take this, copy this out, Control C, go back to your folder here, right click and go new, and create a text document. And I'll call it mylist.txt. So double click it, and I'll Control V to paste in the contents. And now you want to replace the contents of this with the names of your files, and you want to make sure that they're in the right order. So the first file is this one. So F2 to edit the name, and then Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and I'll just paste it in here by going Control V. That's the first one, and I'll copy the second one out, Control F2 to edit, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, select this text and go Control V, select this other one, F2, Control A, Control C, and then Control V. Make sure to save mylist.txt. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is look at the command we have here. So this is the command that you want to use. So select that, Control C, I use Alt-Tab to go back here, and I'll go right-click, New Text Document, and we'll call this, we use Control-A to select all, and call it run.bat. Push Enter. It says, do you want to change the file name extension? I'll say yes. If you can't see the extensions, you'll need to go into View and turn on the File Name Extensions feature. Right-click it and go Edit. And now paste, Control-V, paste the command you copied from over here, paste it in there. And the only thing you need to do is change this to output.mp4. And at the same time, we need to make a couple of changes here. So I've already prepared another set of commands, FFMPEG commands, which I'll include in the video description. And we basically want to just make a slight change here. So instead of -c copy, which copies the entire thing, we want to change this to only copy the video channel. So I'll go Control-C there and select this and paste that in. Another thing we want to do is copy this filter complex signal, command line option. So this will modify the audio to apply the limiter to limit it down to the 0.25 level of the audio. So Control-C, paste that in there, and that should pretty much do everything. So I'll just make word wrap so it goes all into one line, and there's your command. So I'll close File, Save, and I think I might add one more command. I'll just push Enter and type pause, so that way we'll actually see what happens when you run it. So all you have to do now is just make sure you save this batch file, and then double click on run.bat, and it will run the command. So at the same time as combining together the video files, it's also going to be adding a limiter on the audio, which makes it sound better. So you can see that it's running quite quickly. It's running at a frame rate of 92 frames per second, and it's running at the speed of 2.8 times the actual time. So since it's an 8-minute video, it should take about 3 or 4 minutes to do this processing. So in the meantime, I can show you how the performance of the CPU is doing during this time. So right-click on the taskbar, go Task Manager, and wait for Task Manager to load. And we'll go to the Performance tab. You can kind of see how the what is actually happening here. Looks like the CPU is not being used very much, but the disk is at 100%. So it looks like this operation is really based on the limitation of your hard drive. So if you have a really fast SSD drive, you'll notice that this performance of this operation will be a lot faster. But since I just have a regular old hard drive, I'm pretty much bound by the disk I/O operations right now. So as you can see, this is now finished. And because I put a pause, it says press any key to continue. You can see that it's finished, and it's reporting back on the quality of the audio, which is 1.166. So I think it should be fine. I think the quality is good enough for YouTube. And so I can press any key and the window will disappear. Now if you look in the folder where we were running this, there's now a file called output.mp4. One more final step you need to do before you upload this 360 video to YouTube is to use the Google 360 metadata injector. So I'll show you how to get that. So search for 360 video metadata injector. Press enter. And the first answer is upload YouTube videos on YouTube Help. Go here and prepare the upload. Download the 360 video metadata app. I'll click for Windows and I'll download the tool. So under win.zip, and I'll save that in my temp folder as well. You can open up this zip file, and basically you just need to get this one exe. So I'll extract this here and open that up. So you can just run this exe and it opens up the Python shell. It's all automatic, just don't have to do anything, just click open. And now we want to navigate to find the video, so go to videos and walking video and open up output.mp4 and make sure that my video is spherical is checked, and because this camera doesn't have stereophonic 3D or spatial audio, these will not be checked. Click inject metadata, and I usually save my final videos to a different folder, so I'll put it under movies and I'll call this video walking down Oak Street in 360 on an October evening, October 20th, 2018, and I'll put underscore injected so I know that this is been injected. Click save. Now you see what it's doing here, it's saving the file, and this will take a few moments. If you want to see how it's processing, you can go back to the task manager and just have a look at the CPU and the disk. So again, this is because we have a slow hard drive, it's pretty much maxing out the disk performance and the CPU is not heavily used. It's mainly because it's kind of rewriting the file and it's quite large, about, let's see if we see how big the file is. 4.95 gigabytes. So a lot of these video files are quite big. This camera, the YI360 VR, records in 80 megabits a second, so very good bit rate. And because it does the stitching automatically in the camera, the only thing you have to do basically is to concatenate the files it produces and then apply the limiter and then apply the metadata injector like this, and you're pretty much done. If you want to do any other editing, you could just bring the video file into editing software such as Adobe Premiere and cut up the video at any point and then edit however you want, and then just finally, when you're done, render it out into 4K format and then use the spatial metadata injector to put the metadata on there. The metadata is necessary in order to make the video be recognized as a 360 video by YouTube. If you don't put that metadata on there, it will just render as a regular rectangular video, which will not be what you intend, most likely. Okay, it says successfully saved file to the file that we wanted, and we can close this now. You can see it's all done. And now if you go back to my videos folder under movies, I have the video walking down Oak Street. So the funny thing is I haven't watched it yet. I haven't actually seen what I'm going to put on YouTube yet. So I do want to review it before I put it on YouTube. There is a free video player called GoPro VR Player. So if you don't have this already, I'll show you how to get it. So type GoPro VR Player and just search for that. GoPro acquired a program called Color, and Color was a great 360 video player. And you can get it for free by clicking here, the Color, download GoPro VR Player. Basically just download this player and install it. I believe it's available for Windows and Mac. So fortunately, all these instructions should work on a Mac except for the batch file, but those commands can be executed directly on the command line in the Mac. So I'll let you download that yourself. I've already downloaded it myself. I'm going to go to GoPro VR Player there. It says drag and drop your spherical videos here. So I'm going to drop in my video and you can watch the video right here. You can see there's me and the street and my friend there, and I'll just watch the video before I post it on YouTube. I'm actually pretty confident about this video that it's going to be good, so I'll upload it as a YouTube video but leave it unlisted until I've had a chance to review it, and then just drop in the file. So go to movies, drag that file right in, I have a pretty slow connection. You gotta see how fast my connection is by going to Task Manager, and you can see Ethernet. It's pretty much maxing out at 5.1 megabits. It's mostly because our internet connection here is quite affordable. It's only less than $40 a month, so we get pretty slow service, but in any case, it's fairly reliable. So it's not that, it's pretty okay. It will take about 2 hours and a half to upload this video. So I'll be able to come back after a short break and see it all done. But in the meantime, this is pretty much showing you the entire process of how to process a video from the YI360 VR without having to do very much work. I'm just using the free FFMPEG software to basically concatenate together the video files produced by this camera and apply a limiter on the audio to make it louder on YouTube, and then doing the metadata and then basically uploading it at that point. So if you do have more advanced editing skills and you want to make some changes to your video, I have another tutorial below where you can see how I did it with a different camera, but it's very similar process, the 360 camera, the Samsung Gear VR, or Gear 360. But that's pretty much my tutorial for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. For more videos or tutorials, please click the subscribe button below. My name is Jeff from jeffmobile.com. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll also put a link below to the video where I uploaded, which you can see the final video of me walking along Oak Street in Vancouver and all the things we talk about during that video. So that wraps up for now. Hope you have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.